Hey, this is MassX with a brand new keep or delete video, and we are going to talk about God's Raid. There is a funny story behind this game for me. Well, I picked up this game. It actually came out about, I gotta say, it's almost 6 weeks now. And when it came out, it really intrigued me because I liked the premise of having teams, but there's also gods that you pick to back up your particular characters, but we'll get into that. Well, playing the game, I noticed there was some problems. This is from a Korean developer, but it is available globally. And the problems I found was it was crashing on Android 14. So I decided not to do the video, but strangely enough, I kept playing the game and kept playing the game and kept playing the game. Well, the issues have gone away now with Android 14, and so I decided to go ahead and do a video because I think this game deserves one. So as you can see just by the front of it, graphically it looks really nice. It is super clean. The interface, everything is just wonderful. And the quality of life in this game is pretty high, as well as the reroll system could be one of the easiest or best you will ever encounter. Basically, if you do decide to play this game, I would recommend rerolling because it's quick and the chances of you getting multiple high rarity characters are very good. I only rerolled 5 times, was able to get myself 2 very solid starting characters that really carried me early on in this game. All you need to do to reroll is you go to the bottom left and you click that little 3 lines. You're going to go to settings. And in settings, you're going to basically go to account. Don't link anything, of course, but all you have to do is hit delete account. It's that simple. Once you delete your account and it restarts, you're pretty much good to go. It's pretty easy, pretty simple. You don't have to play through too much of the game. It's not very time consuming, and I highly recommend it because what your goal is when you're playing, when you start off, if you decide to play this game, we'll get into it, is you're going to be looking for your high rarity characters. And none of them are bad, okay? They're all good characters. But I specifically was looking for a good kind of defense healer. So I pulled the paladin and turned out to be a blessing. Really helped my team stay alive. To me, DPS isn't as important. But again, there's nothing wrong with going after DPS. But you can take a look at the characters, but I definitely, because of its ease of use, would recommend doing that. Now, when you reroll, just so you know, you'll get stuff in the mail. Just play through so you can have at least a minimum of 2 rolls. I'm going to look for some codes. If there's any codes still available, I will put them in the description. But yeah, so if you like this type of fantasy genre, I highly recommend taking a look at this game. So first off, this is your front screen. This is what you're going to see daily, okay? Now there is an idle component to this game, and it's right here. And basically, you are going to push as far as you can, and based on your level is the amount of rewards you get. And you don't have to do really anything else except for claim them periodically. I claim them, you get 1 free each day on top of that. I do that. Probably log into this game only once a day, honestly. I like it for some quick fun. The fantasy aspects of it, the gameplay I will show you has some interesting little side notes. I actually like some of the other side areas that they have more so than the regular gameplay. But your goal is going to be to build a team, okay? And in that team, there are a lot of different types of characters, and there's a lot of different types of gods. And these lower level characters are actually going to be quicker and easier for you to build right out of the gate. And I recommend that first once you get a handle of the game. And as you get more and better characters, you can switch. But there is some really, 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 really solid characters. For instance, Knight Commander did me really well early on. Assassin is a top tier starting character. Will help you so much. So yeah, you're going to want a few DPS, you're going to want a healer, you're going to want tanking. And again, don't worry about getting team bonuses either early on, because you're just learning the game and you're creating and finding what you like, and then you can morph from there. But as you can see in the upper left hand corner, that's your god that you've assigned to that character. And then as the bottom, the bar changed, and you can see the different gods there are. There's Vidar, Poseidon, which you will get for free. There's Odin, Zeus, the list goes on and on. Idun, Tyr, and some of them match up in particular with certain characters too, and you will get an extra push for that reason. Don't worry about that so much early on, but it is definitely an end game thing you're going to want to be thinking about. Now, the basic campaign mode is what you would expect. You're going to go in and you're going to want to push yourself as far as you can, because your rewards are going to be based on, of course, what level. It's going to help level up your account. All the things you'd expect. They're not recreating the wheel in this game. It's just very aesthetically nice and looks good. We'll just go in and do a battle here so you can see the gameplay. Now, there is an auto mode to it, and it's got a couple different things. You got one times, 2 times, you've got manual, you've got auto, and you've got full. So you have different choices on how much of the gameplay you want to dictate based on those 3 options. Full manual, auto doesn't control your gods, or full, which will control everything. And I can say truthfully, there are parts of this game that you have to do manual or at a minimum control the gods to be able to pass those levels. So don't get frustrated, see where you're losing and go back and then go ahead and do it manually, because a lot of times it's just you're using specific skills that you shouldn't be using and they're not available when you need them. So yeah, but as you can see, look how nice the gameplay is, how fluid it is. I was really impressed. And the campaign mode is not nearly is not super flashy. It's very challenging at times, and these characters have so much diversity to themselves as well as the gods. The combinations are kind of limitless in this game, which makes it really cool. Now, one of the things you're going to see that I got was gold. Gold is an incredibly precious resource in this game. You're going to be always seeking it, always wanting to get more of it. Next, there's an arena mode. Of course there is. And one of the things I can't stress enough in arena mode is just play it. Who cares if you lose? The rewards are solid in there. And a lot of times I will do something as simple as just hitting auto for 5 battles when you go in. You know, you can hit battle and you can choose to do a ×5, and you might win 2, you might lose 3. Don't worry about teams and their builds, okay? The reason why is BP on a team is not as precious as you think, and not necessarily gonna mean you'll lose. Now again, if it's just an immense amount, yes, but I've played teams less than me and lost. I've played teams much higher than me and won. It's really because there's so many different nuances to how these characters interact that it becomes really how your characters stack up to their characters. And sometimes their characters have good responses to your characters and vice versa. And their strength being better than yours or vice versa doesn't make that big of a difference. So you want to keep that in mind. And another area too, where sometimes it's better not to go full, to go manual. Like, I think I'm gonna lose this. I picked someone that I thought was pretty close, but I didn't look at their team. Again, that's the key. God, don't you love that when the gods jump in, like Poseidon there, and just throws the wave down? I just think this game looks really nice, really cool. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely lose this one. I got 0 DPS. I have basically a tank and a healer at this point, and this is not gonna be good. But yeah, so keep that in mind. You really want to look at the characters you're playing versus the characters you're going to be against to really make a good judgment on that. Next, you have your challenge area. And this has the things that I've actually enjoyed the most. You have Maze Island, Hall of the Gods, and Tower of Reincarnation. Now, The tower is your tried and true tower that you've seen in other types of games. It is very challenging. As you can see, there's Tower Infinity, there's Tower of Humans, and so on. And so it has different restrictions. Your Tower of Infinity, you can use any character on, and it's just like what you would expect. Now, going back, this is one of my favorite areas, and this is the Hall of the Gods, where you get to battle gods. And right now they've got Vidar, Charon, and Ares. And basically it changes up the dynamic of everything. And what I mean by that is you have now, your teams go to 10. So you're able to have a front row, back row of multiple characters to fight this god. And I find it just a cool part. And again, another area where sometimes you don't want to be autoing. Doesn't mean you can't auto. Once you get a good setup against somebody, then you auto. You go ahead and drain it for the resources that you need and walk away. But when you're first getting through it, you might have to go past it. But I love this. For some reason, I just really got a kick out of this. Of course, the god, as you would expect, is just monstrous to your characters on the field. Can sometimes just one-shot anybody. I just find it a very interesting, different type of gameplay, and a lot funner at times to me than your basic campaigns, where I'll just go ahead, once I think I have a team that's good enough to get through a whole section of an area, I will just go ahead and let it auto forward, get through those areas till it gets stuck. Then I rework, do some testing, move forward. And that's what I like about this game. It has that kind of feel like you can't be completely hands-off all the time. The last area here we want to talk about is Maze Island, and this area is incredibly important because it's for resources, okay? You're going to have gold, you're going to have enhancements, you're going to have magic ores and awakenings, all things that you're going to need, and it will be available from the start. And like with all different areas, you just move up by stages and then you get better rewards. And this is something that will really help you build out your teams and get your account stronger as you progress through the game. One of the nicest quality of life in this game is the crafting area. You can craft equipment from all different levels, accessories from all different levels, equipment materials, enhancement materials, and then the miscellaneous part is even interesting because you can even craft summon tickets. Yeah, what a novel idea for a game to really do this. Very cool. I'm not going to say this game is like the most free-to-play friendly game in the world, but if you enjoy the game and you play it and you take advantage of what it offers you an absolute lot to be able to progress in this game without having to spend. And there's always tons of login events. You've got the Season 8 check-in event, Watcher of the Forest. You've got different pickup summons. So yeah, it's really cool. And just look how Horus looks, the graphics on it. Isn't that just look phenomenal? I just think that's really cool. And this is our current banner right now, the Watcher of the Forest. They really take the time and detail in their character models, and I really appreciate that. On that far left, you're also going to have another area, those 3 bars where we went to go ahead and delete your count if you're going to reroll. But you also have your mail, where you're going to get your goodies in the mail sent to you, like there's today's. And a lot of times, you know, they've had a lot of stamina events, things like that, to really help you be able to progress without having to purchase stamina. And then there's a lot of other areas to it. Of course, your inventory, tactics, Pandora's box is an area where you will, as you get certain equipments, you put it on here, and as you can see, it builds up your crit damage. Nice little thing that helps you just keep building your account, that you don't have to like worry about daily, but you can go in and keep progressively as you get more equipment. Go ahead and take advantage of that. You have God's Grace, which is actually funny. You're basically certain gods are going to want certain characters, and you are able to sacrifice those characters, you know, and they're not, of course, high rarity characters. And you will get here, it builds up your resistance. You know, I have a plus 89 resistance from giving the characters to the gods that you've pulled and which ones they want. Like in particular, and the higher your god is, the more of these that will open up. So for instance, Odin here, if I click on this, offer sacrifice, offer, boom, there you go. It's that simple. I thought that was kind of creative given that these are god. The package item is going to be your shop. Now there's a few things that you want to keep a lookout for in here, okay? And if you're going to be free to play, that is totally fine. But you're going to see stuff that you normally see, passes and world passes. But you are going to have an under limited shop, your daily package. You're always going to get some resources for free. But you have videos if you are inclined to do that, to get more. It's always something that's nice. I haven't logged in today, so a lot of this, I did this on purpose for the video. There's a weekly where you can go ahead and watch a video too to get a little bit more. You got your free energy chest. You just always want to make sure you go in there on also too a free equipment. Pretty simple stuff. I really wouldn't recommend anything else except for down at the bottom there's a shop button. We were in the package button. In the shop button, you have stuff that you can acquire for in-game resources. So you can see it will cost you gold. But one of the things you're going to really need early on are these holy elixirs based on the rarity of your character. I highly recommend going after those. Don't be afraid, because this game, your currency will come back, but you are going to need it. So don't be afraid to go after that. And the other type that you will be looking at too is, well, yeah, both rarities, the holy elixir and the rare awakening elixir, anything that's going to help. And then of course you have gold in here. This one, that's a little bit tougher on me, because if you just grind, you get a certain amount of gold. You can watch your ads. I highly recommend it. You can watch one daily for 10,000. But in worst case scenario, they do offer it in here for the in-game currency, and it doesn't have to be paid currency. And lastly, the summon system. They've only been running 2 banners at a time, one god and one featured character. Of course, you have your regular ones. There's your regular hero one. You will get lots of tickets for this one, so don't be too concerned. I would not focus or even think about these limited banners, because there's enough characters in the game that I would just be pulling from this one. This is where your tickets are going to be good for, and don't use your currency for the other banners, at least this time. That's more to me an end game item. And same thing, it's literally the exact same setup for the gods. You'll have a featured banner, then you've got your summon gods, and you'll always get a free one each day, and you'll also acquire tickets for this. And you just keep acquiring characters, and you slowly keep progressing your team. But that's one of the reasons why I do stress that if you can, re-roll and get yourself, a couple of the high rarity characters, and then and then when you're building, those high rarity characters cost a lot to build. So you're going to be more focusing on the lower rarity characters like we talked about, because they're going to be easier and quicker to build. And I can't stress enough, like I said, Assassin is one of those characters. If you get your hands on it, early game will help you a lot, as well as Knight Commander. Power Fist will be a solid tank early game for you. So yeah, so there you go. Interesting game, graphically looks just phenomenal, and honestly something that I did not expect to enjoy so much. So I wanted to get a video out there for you. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.